Hello and welcome again to Tech Talks, the People and Planet podcast, where we explore the ways that technology can be used for good, from healthcare to education, social justice to sustainability. We've got you covered here at Tech Talks. So our guest today is Laurent Petit. Laurent, welcome. Laurent is the co-founder of Active Giving, a startup in the tech for good space, which offers an exercise tracking application that plants trees globally based on the user's activity level. The more active the user is, the more they do good for the world. Active Giving has partnered with various universities and corporations in a bid to encourage a movement towards a more environmentally aware and active culture. So in this episode, we're going to be discussing the mission of Active Giving, the impact of technology in achieving environmental goals, and the challenges and opportunities creating a movement, I guess, towards a much more sustainable future. So join us as we explore yet another exciting intersection of technology and social impact with our guest, Laurent Petit. So Laurent, super keen to dive into the ins and outs of the good that you're doing at Active Giving. But I wondered first, before we do that, if you could give us a bit of insight into yourself and what you're doing at the moment.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Tony, for having me on the podcast, and welcome everyone. So yeah, as you said, I'm the co-founder of Active Giving, and basically what I do is I try to inspire people to physically move more, and at the same time try to inspire them to do more good for our world. So one of the ways they could do good is to care for our planet, and so basically we work at this intersection between doing good for oneself and doing good for the planet at the same time.
Great. Yeah, no, it's a really inspiring combination, and yeah, kind of sort of really hitting that from both sides. So super exciting to get into things. So I guess, could you tell us a bit about the inspiration behind Active Giving and how you kind of sort of came up with this idea to combine the exercise tracking and the tree planting?
Yeah, so I've always been enthusiast when it comes to sports and doing a lot of sports myself. And like in the past decade, I also start to inspire people to move more. So I use different social media platform and other means to basically get people moving, because I really value the benefit of physical movement on not only physical but also mental health. So, my goal was just to trying to bring more joy and happiness in people's life through movement. And at the same time, basically, it also came to me that in order for me to be physically healthy, I also needed to be surrounded by a healthy environment, which basically is the planet and the way we treat it. And so I realized I can't be healthy or fit if my planet or my surrounding is not healthy or fit. So just decided, like, okay, but would there be a way to just bring both together? Because as healthier the planet is, as healthier I could be. And basically, this is how it got started. First, through events. I was organizing different sport events in Berlin, and I love to bring people together through the love of sports. And those moments are just key moments to just spread a message. People want to be doing good. People want to gather as a community. They want to belong to a group. And yeah, as I said, they want to do good. So we just started like this, how you could have a positive impact on the planet through events. So it could be as simple as, going out for a cleanup run, or try to help your neighborhood, or even like collecting kilometers and convert them into donation for environmental projects. That was really the main idea. And then, as for instance, myself, a sport person, I use a lot of fitness app, fitness devices, and I gather a lot of data on a daily basis because I like to track everything. Then, because I'm not necessarily training for important race, or I'm not an athlete, in the end, my data are not so valuable for me, unless I want to post about them on Insta and show everyone I've been active. That's great, but I had the feeling like, okay, can we actually use those data for a good purpose? And this is basically where the idea of Active Giving kind of came.
No, cool. So yeah, I mean, look, absolutely, it seems like Active Giving is totally focused on a mission of creating a more healthy lifestyle and also saving the planet in at the same time, ultimately. So how important do you feel that technology is in achieving that mission, and how do you see your application itself contributing to that goal overall, I guess?
I mean, the first realization is that almost each of us, we are connected to a device. Let's take the phone, right? We use it like, I don't know how many hours per day. And I would say not only for good things, right? So we probably spend a lot of time using our phone for things that are not necessarily to our health development. And then I thought, why don't we just basically tap into a habit of a certain group of people? And the group is the people who are using fitness app, right? The fitness app market is huge. I don't have like the latest number, but it's quite big. And therefore, we didn't want to create a new behavior for people. We just wanted to tap into a behavior of existing people, which is the use of fitness apps. And therefore, we thought, okay, if people are already using those apps, why don't we come up with an idea where the app also brings another value, which is the value for the planet? And this is why we believe our technology, or technology at large, is very important, because I don't think we're going to evolve into a society where technology is going to be less important. It's just going to be more and more important. And therefore, we have to find ways or tool or apps in order to bring a behavior and a purpose together. So I'm not going to throw names, but there's a lot of really cool apps out there when you want to search the web, if you want to go shopping, if you want to do, I don't know, e-mobility, and all those apps actually have a purpose. And it's great because then you can actually use your phone, spend time on your phone, but with an additional value to it.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's it's a really interesting kind of concept when you kind of sort of put it like that. So yeah, I mean, obviously we understand your application certainly incentivizes users to become more active by planting those trees based on their activity levels. How effective have you found this approach to be so far, and what impact have you kind of sort of seen?
Yeah, I mean, first let's talk about the impact. So we were created in June 2020, or at least the app was launched in June 2020. And since then, our community has been able to collect, or at least we financed the plantation of 1.2 million trees around the world. So
Wow.
this proves that a lot of people joined, a lot of people understood the combination of, okay, I can be active and do good. I can actually add value to society through my physical exercises. So I think on this point, it's pretty straightforward. And maybe you've heard it from people who've run marathon, or maybe you run marathon yourself. But a lot of time when it comes to sport challenges, people like to add this charity component or this doing good component. Not only like trees, could be something else, but we already knew that at the core of sports, there's a dimension of social or environmental impact. But for us, back in 2020, we really felt that the environmental cause was one of the most important. And also we wanted to find a way to gamify this experience on active giving. And then we thought, I mean, looking at your background, everyone can see what a tree is. And most of us know the benefit of trees, because every breath we take is thanks to the trees, and also other things like oceans. But, mainly people know, okay, nature, trees. And for the people that are using active giving, we know most of them like outdoor activities. So it just feels great if you go out for a run and you know that your run is going to contribute to greening your surroundings. And so basically we found that this equation, run could be something else, but activity plus equal trees works really well. But I just want to mention also that active giving was built as a platform. We want to inspire people to do good. So it's not only environmental, it could also be social. And for instance, the tree planting project that we work with have this social and economical dimension. So when we work with local communities who are planting the trees, the local communities benefit from it. So that's really important for us, that if we plant trees, if we have a positive impact on the planet, it needs to also add a positive impact on communities and society at large.
Of course. So before we move on, I guess just to sort of dig a little bit deeper into that, then I guess how just out of curiosity for myself, how far would one person have to run to plant a single tree, for example?
Yeah, I mean, we have different tree planting projects on the platform that you could choose from. So as a user, once you sign up on our app, you can decide, I want to collect trees for the Future, Eden Reforestation Project, and so on. So those are partners that we have. And basically, based on the project that you decide to run for, be active for, the conversion is slightly different. And this is also due to the price of the tree, because of the region, the techniques that they use. But let's say if you would take one project that we have, you could already start collecting a tree after 7.5 kilometers of running.
Oh, wow.
So we decided that, it's just a great personal achievement to already go out there, take the time, run 7.5K, and basically have this benefit of helping the planet. And it's not about the time, it's not necessarily about the performance, it's really about the effort. So we want people to realize that we want them to move. Of course, if you're training for a marathon, you would have more chances to do good, but we also want to encourage people who don't have the chance to move so much to just go out. And if it's 5 kilometers, it's also great. It would be 0 point something trees. But in the end, for us, what's really important is what we like to call climate positive collective action. So it's the sum of all the activities we do as a community, rather than just me, Laurent, how many trees can I plant? Of course, it's great, to know that I've planted thousands of trees, but it's really important to know that it's actually together that we can create this change.
Absolutely. No, it's really, really interesting, as I say. I guess then from your standpoint, I know and understand that you partnered with various universities and corporations to, I guess, effectively offer your product to the students and employees within that business. How have these partnerships been received so far, and what kind of impact have you actually seen from these collaborations?
Yeah, it's actually a great tool for us to spread our mission. The companies or corporates that basically want to engage the employees, because it's also very difficult for employers. I mean, not all of them, but for most of them, to basically engage the community, to make sure that employees move enough. If you're sitting on a desk 9 or more hours per day, like, how do you make sure your employees are still living a healthy life, right? So more and more companies try to find ways to create those like challenges. And because we bring not only movement, but we also bring the do good part together, it's a very nice addition to what a company can offer to employees. So far, it's really been working great. It's actually one of the products that we sell the most, because we can create specific group. We call them teams inside Active Giving, like a sport team. And the idea is that employees or community members from one specific group can join a team and therefore collect their activities toward a certain goal. So let's say company X wants to do a 3-month challenge, and the goal is to plant 50,000 trees after this challenge. Basically, the employees of this organization will be active as much as they can during this period of time. And together, again, this like collective action, they would create this impact. So not only the corporate companies can also use this to talk about what they do for the employees on a health and mental side, but also on the planet side. It just creates something new for the employees who maybe were not used to move more, and after they're like, hey, actually it was great to run for 3 months, I'm just going to do it again. Something that I want to mention is that I usually talk a lot about running, but again, Active Giving is open to more than 45 different activities. So it could be yoga, it could be climbing, it could be everything. But the running has been quite the easiest sport to get people into, especially through COVID. And after that, you basically just need a pair of running shoes and you can go out. So we just want to emphasize this. And of course, as I said, like universities, sport federation, like any entities that basically have great groups, this is where Active Giving can come in and create those challenges. And not only we see like the benefit throughout the challenges because people have been moving more, but also we see it after people stick into our app and they continue using it, even though their challenge with the company is over. Or this is the best case scenario. It happened also often, is that the company realized, oh, this 3-month challenges was so cool. Can we do another one? And then we just basically continue it for like 6 months. And for us, this is the important thing, not only from a business perspective and economical perspective, but it's just try to engage company as long as possible, because in the end, the health of your employee is as important today as in 10 years. So why would you stop if you have the resource for it? So yeah, that's been really a great tool for us to accelerate our impact.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting you say that. I mean, one of my previous businesses that I worked for, actually, we did basically, we had an entity in Canada, and we did a race to Canada, basically. So we sort of split into teams, and yeah, basically the amount that you ran was then kind of sort of calculated in terms of the team distance, and it was the first team to reach Canada was kind of victorious, I guess, in that sense. But yeah, there was definitely not only obviously the health benefits to that, but also I think as well as like from an employer perspective, it can bring teams closer together and get them working towards a common goal as well. So it certainly has, not only the sort of sustainability and health kind of benefits, but also kind of internal culture benefits as well, I feel, on that front.
That's correct. I mean, there's a lot of boundings. I mean, it depends, of course. If you have remote teams, it's always difficult to bring them together,
Yeah.
but they can still interact through the app online. But the best case we have is, I mean, I'm based in Berlin, so most of the events that we can do in person happen in the German region or the German country. And basically, when we can actually bring a team from the app to an actual physical event, it's even greater, because first they can experience the app like live, like if you would run together with your colleagues, and then, as you said,
Yeah.
you can bound. Yeah, we also really try to communicate clearly with people this importance of I'd like to call it active and eco-conscious lifestyle, because again, it's not about being like the new champion in whatever discipline. It's more about embracing this idea of moving more because it benefits your physical and mental health. But at the same time, can you also adopt an eco-conscious lifestyle? So one of the key events we do, as I mentioned before, is like those cleanups where we go in the city. We, for instance, clean up the city, and after we have workshop where people, for instance, would try to take part of the things that can be recycled, or how do you give a new life to things. We also encourage employees we work with. For instance, we would bring a box to the office and they can put used clothes. So we're going to reuse the clothes for something else. So we just try to tell them also that basically sport is just one way to get people's attention, to basically bring more good into their life.
Definitely, absolutely. So look, obviously, yeah, from what we've kind of sort of discussed so far, it's obvious that your startup is focused really on creating a movement. I would say, where people become more active, with the common goal to save the planet. Creating a movement, it can be a difficult thing. So, how do you see? I guess, how do you see your application and the movement you're building or contributing to a larger kind of cultural shift towards environmental awareness and action ultimately? And what are some of the sort of challenges you faced or are facing in creating a real shift towards that movement, and how have you kind of overcome them, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, first, of course, it's important that active giving become this like daily partner of yours, So, every time I'm going to make a movement, or not one movement, but like an activity, I can track active giving. And also we have other implementation of the, inside the app. We give you also news about, what's going on in the world, what other pillars in your life you can activate to do good. So for us, as you say, it's more about like this lifestyle, this idea that people now would think in terms of active giving. I mean, it could be also a different name. It's just like, okay, whatever action can I take today that can also have a benefit for someone or something else. So that's really the idea. I mean, yeah, where you shop, where is it coming from? Do I really need to travel this place? I kind of just have people reflecting more on what they do. And this is basically what active giving was created. As I said, more towards sport at first, but in the end, we want to become, as I said, like a lifestyle, because you can't do sport 24 hours a day. So how do you manage to do good when you do something else than sports? So we want to create this movement and community, as you said. I mean, if it has the name active giving, it's great. If not, it doesn't matter, because we also want to embrace other great companies. So by the way, if anyone is listening, is doing something similar, please reach out to us, because we know we can't do this alone, and we don't want to do this alone. So we want to do it with as many people as possible for the greater good. And so in this sense, the movement that we are creating is a movement that could be really like expanded across the world. I mean, one of the good KPIs for us is to know that even though we are based in Germany, we have challenges all around the world. So we know the cause that we want to support is a cause that kind of like everyone wants to support. It's just a matter of, have you heard about this? How can we make sure people know it exists? Because most of the time you were asking for challenges. Of course, the biggest challenge for us is to make people download the app, right? So how do you make sure that everyone gets to know about the app itself? But usually when we have the chance to meet a person, or when we have the chance to get some promotion on internet, once the person know it exists, there's not many barriers anymore because the app is free, it's very simple to use, and so on and so forth. So really, I would say the main challenges for us is obviously that there's other apps that track sport activities on the market, and therefore people would think they would use those ones because maybe they are better in this, like the different options and tracking everything, but they don't have the do good part. The challenge for us is just to remind people that in the end, we are about the do good part. Yes, we use sport, but it's mainly about the do good part. And so, yeah, I think the challenge is just to make sure that we can be seen by as many people as possible. But we were really lucky so far, and this podcast is a great example. We can talk about what we do. We are giving the possibilities to do so, and we had great press. And as I said, we've been used by many people in different part of the world. So yeah, I really believe the movement that we create is something that's going to stick for a long time, and hopefully it's going to be replicated in some form by others.
Hopefully, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely been a few things that you've kind of sort of touched on, throughout this conversation, which will probably play a part in this next question and the final question I have for you, really. So what are the kind of sort of future plans for Active Giving? How do you kind of sort of see that evolving in years to come?
Yeah, I mean, something we haven't touched on so far, I mean, in this podcast, and I wanted to mention it now, is that we've also built Active Giving as a tool for athletes to talk about climate change, right? Or to support a cause in general, because you probably know in the sport world, there's many great athletes who already are super engaged into different charity projects. And I think this is amazing. But we found out that it's always hard even for them to engage their fans, or their community, right? And basically what we created with Active Giving is a way for fans to also support athletes in this regard. So for instance, let's say, I don't know, LeBron James would do a challenge on Active Giving. He would basically tell his community like, hey guys, you can join me in being active. Every time we go out for 5K run, we're gonna support this cause, right? So basically, this is really one of the shifts we're moving towards too. Also because it's Paris 2024 next year, we want to have create this 100 athlete list on Active Giving, where basically we would have 100 different athletes that would promote Active Giving. I mean, it's already started. So if you look on our different pages, we already work with great athletes, and not only in the running space. Don't worry, we have tennis table, we have volleyball, we have cyclism. I mean, we have a lot. And to also make people understand that it's about movement. So again, not only about running, but all the disciplines are welcome. And yeah, I mean, grow the team, because as of now, we have a team of 2 persons. So it would be great to join if we can expand the team, because we need it. So also, if anyone out there is interested, to reach out. Yeah, I mean, one of my goals, but this is also, I know it's not really personal, but it's also at some point, be able to support organization like WHO, right? Because one of their main goals is to get people healthy and active, and we have this fun and engaging tool. So why not at some point along the line, be the official provider of digital tool for WHO or the Olympic Committee? I mean, all of those, huge organization would be wonderful, and I think we really work towards that, because we already work with, I think, more than 5 or 6 international sport federation. So we have kind of planted the seeds, and in different pillars that are really important for us. And hopefully we would build such a strong case that, at some point, maybe they would even reach out and be like, hey, we're interested in your app. Could we do something together? That would be, ideal.
Cool. Well, look, it sounds like you've got some, you've got plenty of the strong foundation set there, and absolutely, really, really keen to continue, watching your journey and seeing where that goes. So I think that's all we've kind of got time for today, unfortunately. But look, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, Laurent, and thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Tech Talks, the People and Planet podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the discussion with Laurent here, the co-founder of Active Giving, a startup that combines exercise tracking with tree planting to create a more sustainable future. At Tech Talks, we believe that technology can really be used as a force for good in the world by bringing together experts, innovators within the tech industry. We explore ways that technology can be used to create a more equitable, just and sustainable world. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, leaving a comment. Your feedback's super valuable to us as we aim to bring you more conversations on technology and social impact. So Laurent, it's been great. And yeah, been an absolute pleasure. And as I say, really excited to continue watching your journey. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. And we look forward to bringing you more inspiring guests and thought-provoking discussions in the future. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure.
Cheers. Bye-bye.